Parfait. Alors. Oui, je voulais me téléporter, mais... Tippett, j'ai un truc à te dire.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
I will cover for you, Dr. Tippett, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly force you to become my accomplice.
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're still of use to the hospital, considering the situation.
Oui.
Then I can make you this promise. As soon as the epidemic is eradicated, I will resign.
Très bien.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Ah oui, alors c'est toi qui est avec North Crane.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Ah non, Hawkins.
Goodbye, Milton.
Et y a pas quelqu'un qui est avec North Crane? Non, elle est toute seule, elle, Dorothy Crane. Très bien. Zut. Oswald Thatcher, oui, est-ce qu'on peut le soigner, lui? Ah oui, alors lui, il se laisse mordre par elle parce qu'elle pense que c'est un vampire. C'est une connasse. Elle a disparu? Ah non. C'est en fait, c'est un vrai vampire, quoi. Bon, on va aller à l'étage, on va aller s'occuper, on va aller voir Lady Ashbury. Et j'ai envie de m'occuper justement de cette histoire de vampire surveillé. Putain, il y a Harry Potter.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Bien, on va lui parler directement.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Alors, vu que t'as mal à la gorge, on va bien te faire parler.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Très bien. Il y a autre chose alors.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Est-ce qu'il aurait pas fait la guerre?
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes. Thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
D'accord. Soit.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival.
Les coups de pression.
What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Elle vous a fait payer?
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of
On
the
est où ici, en
situation.
Macronie?
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Oui, bah, on fait ce qu'on peut. Hein.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Très bien. Ça m'inquiète tout ça. Investigation locale, oui. Ça c'est bon. Alors c'est mauvaise cible qu'il faudrait qu'on fasse. Bon, j'allais parler à machine, hein, à Pipa là, parce que j'aime pas trop qu'on fasse payer les lits dans mon hôpital. On n'est pas en Macronie ici.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Ah, on s'en bat les couilles.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Bon, bah on va aller parler à machine alors. Lady Ashbury. D'abord, je vais prendre ça. Ah non, mais elle était en bas, cette connasse. Enfin, cette connasse. Cette dame fort aimable. Qu'est-ce qui branle?
You don't mind if I search your pockets?
Petit bâtard!
You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir, and I thank you for your generous donation.
Petit bâtard. C'est du vol. Alors, c'est du vol, en même temps, c'est du pillage de tombes, un peu. Rien de très Charlie, en tout cas. Hein. Donc, Rakesh.
It's locked.
Rakesh.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh? Is that what your pawnbrokers is really about?
These people are dead, sir. What they possessed could be useful for the living. And I'm sure they would agree if they could speak.
Peu de respect.
You should show respect for the dead. What about their loved ones who may treasure these items you sell?
The bodies I watch over are the unwanted and undesired, sir. I would never deprive anyone of their family artifacts.
Ah, zut, je ne peux pas le charmer. Il est insensé le mécharme.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Bon. Oui, c'est vrai que si personne va réclamer les biens, enfin c'est gâché quoi. On est trop en galère pour... Est-ce que je veux dire ou pas? Ça aurait été autrement, j'aurais dénoncé direct, mais là c'est vrai qu'on a besoin de tout ce qui est possible et bah, si ça part à la poubelle, c'est dommage quoi. Lady Ashbury! Attendez, il y a les loots. Là, non. Mais en fait, quand je suis venu lui parler, il y avait déjà lui, quoi. Enfin, il y avait des... je peux déjà venir... Ah bah bravo! Ah super, hein!
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
You killed him. He trusted you. And you killed him.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
So in the end, the accusation was true, wasn't it?
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
I must confess I have not put an end to the blackmail, my lady. Unfortunately, I could not bring myself to do it.
I'm so disappointed in you, Jonathan.
Bah toi aussi tu me déçois.
I didn't expect this from you.
Lady Ashbury, you yourself admitted how ridiculous the sum of money was. I can assure you, it was all used for charitable ends.
Well, you are full of surprises, aren't you, Jonathan? All right, say I trust you. But you will still pay the ransom. That is only fair. After all, it was you who failed to bring this problem to a satisfactory conclusion.
I believe I could agree to that.
And since a lady always keeps her promises, I will now answer any questions you may have.
Pourquoi vous avez mangé cette personne?
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London vampire society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
And no one suspected you of the murders?
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
Quel âge avez-vous?
I know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27.
Genre.
I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Genre. Genre t'as 27 ans, enfin genre t'avais 27 ans quoi, elle a 30 ans cette femme là. Enfin bon bref.
Very well. But I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
A lady has to have some secrets.
J'ai 27 ans. 27 ans de
who
vampire,
bestowed
hein.
upon
Faut,
you
faut multiplier par 200.
Eternal youth.
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter skull.
What type of vampire is a skull?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their
Ouais,
baser
c'est des vampires primitifs
instincts.
quoi.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then.
No, Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, Skulls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
Alors,
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain. More than likely, it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous.
c'est pas
You
faux.
would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad.
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
D'accord.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Will they all be as affable as you, my
Quel bâtard.
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
D'accord. Eh bien, très bien.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
D'accord. Donc c'est impuissant, quoi.
Excuse my forwardness, but are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
Très bien. Est-ce que je suis un vampire?
A vampire? Is that what I am? What we are?
Such a crude word, defined by penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
Un écon, c'est le... Parce que je suis stupide, c'est ça?
So we are Ekons. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How to put it? All Ekon are vampires, but all vampires are not
Ah oui,
Ekon.
je connais cette théorie.
We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires. Forget what you think you know about us.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
Très bien.
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake.
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
Ouais. Donc hein, c'est le... évidemment c'est la version de il faut boire le sang de celui qui t'a mordu.
I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Bon, c'était sûrement un vampire, hein, mais... Alors par contre, moi je voudrais faire vite fait... où sont mes quêtes? Mission principale. Putain, c'est comment? Par contre, c'est pas forcément pratique, le... Oui, donc ça. Toi. Oui. Thelma Hawcroft. Voilà, je voudrais faire ça. C'est à 40 mètres. Oh là là, mais... Attendez, parce qu'il y a un event. Ah. Je suis en train de rater un truc. Ça, ils étaient où? Là.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Fait de l'anémie.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Tu veux toujours pas parler?
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me
No, il
if you
n'hésite
need
pas.
any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor.
Et vous?
How is my son doing?
Ok.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Alors, quand on était en haut, on avait une indication comme quoi il y avait un truc à espionner. Vous savez, c'est les... comment dire? Le truc devient rose pétant et... faut trouver le point d'observation, mais ça m'a pas mis l'indication en fait. Genre c'est quand j'étais par là, là. Ah. Et comment on fait? Où?
It's locked, all right.
Comment je peux... C'est en bas, d'accord. Ouais, c'est là. Ah non, c'est pas là, c'est dehors. On va y arriver.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Il est dépressif. Pardon, nurse machin.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Your son wished to die, Beatrice. Why did you hide such crucial information?
Are you not aware suicide is a crime? Mortimer could be thrown in jail. I can't
Sérieux?
let that happen. I won't.
I understand you fear the legal consequences, Mrs. Goswick. But don't you realize your silence significantly affects your son's case?
All my son needs is help and comprehension. Not judgment and punishment for what he may or may not have done.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reed.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
Très bien.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you then.
Puis au pire, je te
I
mangerai,
have
c'est
to
pas
go
grave.
now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir.
Sweet girl.
Et mine de rien, je sais pas trop où est-ce qu'il faut aller pour savoir qui surveille Micheline. Hein. On peut peut-être lui redemander. Guy. Micheline.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Thomas Elwood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you
Ah oui,
feel
c'est
so
celui qui est derrière.
attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Et du coup,
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
alors en fait, je peux appuyer sur rond pour quitter les dialogues.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
Ok. Putain, mais qui peut surveiller Micheline, quoi? D'accord, ici ça sert à rien. Je vais me renseigner sur sur Thelma, voir comment on peut faire sa quête.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Allez. Alors oui, alors j'ai pris ça, son cordial machin. Tout ça. Ah non, ça c'était... Ok. J'ai pas assez. J'ai pas assez. Alors, analysons cette saloperie d'échantillon de sang de Razvan.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Scowls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.
Mais d'abord... Fouillons des trucs. Y'a rien à fouiller. Merde, c'est pas là. Dr. Swansea. Je prends la lettre. Ouais, on s'en fout.
Evening, Edgar. Could I get your professional opinion?
Please speak. But I have something important to tell you.
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in Europe. It's downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
Alors,
I've just looked at the blood of one of our recently deceased.
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads and looks like the Spanish flu, but its effects differ greatly. The London strain is different from the continental one.
This is very interesting. Did you find something else?
Yes. Unlike the flu, the infected begin to show an increase in outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stove, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here. But it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
mais on s'en bat les couilles.
But the risk of infection using vampire blood could compound the situation.
I know, but your blood now carries remarkable regenerative properties.
Certes.
With our minds and your blood, there's nothing we couldn't cure.
We'll discuss this more later. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said, I needed to talk to you. I have some rather bad news.
Yes?
I'm afraid it's your sister.
Ah!
My sister?
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences.
Super. Bon bah on va passer une bonne nuit. Hop, ça c'est fait. Ah bah super. Ah voilà. Oui, je sais pas, le jeu il a dit non. Des fois ça arrive de la PS4, des fois elle déconne. Découvrir qui espionne Thelma. Bon, on va essayer de faire ça. On va voir Rakesh parce que on a sa lettre, machin, on sait qu'il a fait la guerre ou je sais pas quoi.
I never thought I would have to attend my murdered sister's funeral. Mary, I can't forgive myself. I'll find the truth about what happened to us. I swear, it's locked all right.
Machin.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
Ah bah c'est sûr que si tu fais des erreurs avec les morts, c'est moins grave.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Bon. Du coup, ouais, qui espionne Thelma? Donc c'est dans le coin en fait. C'est dans l'hôpital. Et j'ai une nouvelle quête apparemment aussi.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see.
Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Très bien.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Il y a pas un... Oui, toi. Je te connais pas encore.
I know that...
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Très bien.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Nouvelle enquête.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Eh ben salut. Ah.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury.
Ah.
He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings, with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
Bon, salut. Hein.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Très bien, on parlera... si on peut lui reparler vite fait. C'est lui, hein, oui, c'est lui. Oui, machin.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr.
Alors, je sais, dans le jeu, on parle beaucoup.
Any news about my
enfin,
operation?
eux, ils parlent beaucoup.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Mais du coup, c'est pas du tout de ta faute.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Eh ben, c'est cool, hein.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Salut,
Fiddick.
hein.
I'll see you later.
Amuse-toi bien. Ok, donc... j'ai regardé un peu... où est-ce que je pouvais trouver... des gens qui, voilà... espionneraient. Et en principe, c'est par ici. Donc on va faire ça et après on s'arrêtera.
I have this thirst for blood.
Putain, je l'ai tellement esquivé, lui. Alors, c'est pas là. C'est censé être par ici. La question c'est... est-ce qu'il y a une entrée quelque part? Peut-être bien. C'est quoi ce qu'ont appris les membres de garde? Ok. Alors, il y a 3 jours, une de nos nouvelles recrues a entendu une rumeur selon laquelle un vampire femelle se cacherait au Pembroke Hospital. Nous n'avons que son nom, Thelma. Votre mission consiste à vous rendre discrètement là-bas et à observer toute activité suspecte concernant la dite suceuse de sang, puis de nous faire directement votre rapport afin que nous décidions des mesures à prendre. Très bien. Bah, je vais juste en parler à Thelma vite fait. Et après on se rendra tranquillement à... La prochaine fois du coup on ira direction Whitechapel. Pour... Voilà quoi. T'es fatigué toi?
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
Really? Why has no one else asked me that since I got here? I thought I was in a hospital.
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help. And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right, Dr. Reed. I'm sure if me missus was still alive, she wouldn't be happy with me going on like this.
Sûrement. Salut.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me,
but in the circumstances, I'm... Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Vous avez l'air fatigué.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this? No, I don't feel well, actually.
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you recover.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved.
Ah, si tu savais.
Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Très bien. La porte. Thelma. Où est Thelma? Faut que je parle à Thelma. Toi, c'est bon, je vais pas te redonner des trucs. Hein. Toi non plus, c'est bon. J'en ai marre de vous filer des médocs, vous êtes médecin, bordel de merde. Alors, je cherche Thelma. Elle doit être sur l'aile sud. L'aile sud, du coup. T'as Gwyneth, t'es fatigué. Hein. Alors que Dr. Tippett, il est à fond. Hein.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
You are no vampire. You are a delusional woman, convinced she is something she is not.
How convenient to call delusional anyone who does not share your precious rationale, Dr. Reed.
J'avoue.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Très bien. Et on va s'arrêter là. Et donc la prochaine fois on ira, on retournera à Whitechapel. Ah oui, il y a une quête ici. Ah. Bon, on va aller vite fait voir Dr. Swansea. Apparemment il a une quête. Il aurait pas pu nous la donner tout à l'heure, ce connard. Docteur. Qu'est-ce que tu veux?
I need to talk to you, Edgar.
Please do so.
Nurse Crane will not be returning to Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, really? Did something happen? She seems such a very capable woman.
Let's just say we had a difference of opinion, and I had to ask her to leave. Permanently.
I believe you. But as administrator of this facility, I would like to be consulted on such matters in the future.
Do you know anything about the vampire hunters in the East End?
Without a doubt, it's the Guard of Prewen. Zealots to the last man.
Where do they come from?
Once they shared the Brotherhood's ideology on non-intervention, but they concluded vampires were a scourge.
They're definitely well organized and equipped.
They're extremely dangerous and not to be trifled with. To them, you're a feral beast, and I, your accomplice.
So you manage a hospital financed by a vampire?
Yes, Pembroke was founded by Lady Ashbury. She's also our largest donor.
If I may inquire, how did you meet her?
Well, Jonathan, she sought me out and offered me the position. It's been a very profitable partnership for both parties.
D'accord.
A convenient yet expensive way to have a fresh supply of blood on hand, day and night, don't you think?
All vampires drink blood by nature. Me, I praise the lady's exemplary moral fiber.
We'll talk later.
Mais, y a pas une quête? Non. Fallait juste finaliser le... Ok. Eh bah très bien, bah, ce qu'on va faire c'est que... On va se quitter là, hein. Et moi je vais me rendre à Whitechapel tranquillou, et je vais me poser à un refuge là-bas. Voilà. Des bisous. Et croyez en la Sainte Pelle.